All right, there we go. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Follett House Friday. I'm Jeremy, the Museum Services Manager for the Sandusky Library and Follett House Museum. And this week, we are doing something just a little different. Oh, well, not really a little different. It's a little bit bigger anyway, but we're still continuing with our October theme where we're trying to do things that are a little odd, a little strange, some things that people find creepy. And one of the things that we get the most comments on that people find creepy is this. So this is a giant carved statue of Punch. Punch, if I remember correctly, was used in puppet shows in originally England and became popular in the U.S. eventually. And so you might be wondering, why do we have this giant wooden statue of Punch? Well, this actually has a really big connection to Sandusky. This was outside of one of the cigar stores in Sandusky. It was put out there in 1866 outside the Ritter cigar store, and it stayed there until the store was closed in 1938, right in there. So this was a fixture in Sandusky for 73 years, and the shop owner would put it out every morning and bring it back in the evening, just to make sure it was safe. And this was a fixture in town. It's kind of hard to see on the camera, and if I get a flashlight, you can kind of see it on the camera, but it's hard. But across his stomach here, if I shine the flashlight, you can't really see the R, but you can see the other letters where it says Ritter. For a Ritter cigar store. The Ritter cigar store was located on Columbus Avenue, just on the north side of West Market Street. South side of West Market Street, if I remember correctly. So this had, like I said, was a large fixture and advertised a cigar shop. Now, one of your questions might be, why? Well, in the 1800s, for those of you who grew up with Bugs Bunny cartoons, you've probably seen this. Outside of cigar stores, they would have wooden carving figures of Native Americans to help bring people in to buy cigars. Mr. Ritter instead bought this from New York. It's rumored to have been made from a piece of broken ship and carved, and he brought it from New York City to put outside his store. Just to help bring in customers. And it is, whether you like it or not, it's very memorable. And if you walk past this for years on end, you would know whose store it is. And if someone asked you about it, you could tell them whose store it is and what they sell. So it is very memorable, and it is effective advertising. I have a picture here. I was behind the camera. And it's kind of hard to tell. This is from the 1890s, early 1900s. And it's hard to tell in the photo, and it's probably even worse on the camera. But if you look there, right where my finger is, you can actually see the wooden statue in the picture along with the rest of the staff and of course, this is the Ritter cigar store itself. You can see the Ritter above the door. So we have picture proof that it was there. And when you think of Sandusky, you don't really think of cigars, but Sandusky for a long time actually had a very booming cigar industry. We have this article from the Sandusky Evening Star. It's from 1904, and in 1904, Sandusky produced just short of, I find it again, 3 million cigars. There were... There's no storage factories. I'm trying to remember. They 18 factories combined to produce about 2.9 million cigars, and it employed 175 men, boys, and girls in the industry. So it is a huge industry in Sandusky, and it's one that we don't really think about. And it's one that's obviously died out. To my knowledge, there's no cigar factory still in Sandusky. But this helps us to kind of remember that past and help to connect to that part of Sandusky's history that is no longer with us. And that's why it's an important artifact, because it does help us to remind us a part of Sandusky's history that is no longer with us, and is a physical representation of that industry that was here. Ritter didn't just sell the cigars, he also had a cigar factory as well in town. So he helped make part of those 2.9 million cigars that year in 1904. With that, I hope you guys enjoyed it, and it's one of the more memorable pieces. Just as a reminder, we are taking tours again for the Follett House. You have to call and make a reservation. Groups no bigger than 6. You can call the Sandusky Library to make those reservations if you'd like to see Punch and the rest of the collection. And I hope you all enjoy your weekend, and thank you for joining us for another Follett House Friday.